Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. That is a BS to Entrance Exam by your coach Bakul Hanspal. This is Bakul Hanspal, the founder and the CEO of this very ethics startup. And in this video, we are going to again continue with the Indian Contract Act, where just one chapter of ours was left, chapter number 10 agency. आज हम इसको खत्म करेंगे. बहुत टाइम से अलग अलग टाइप का कंटेंट आ रहा था on my YouTube channel. Again, there were a lot many reels, Instagram, YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, carousels which were coming up. If you are again like if you actually know about my Instagram page and you are following me on my Instagram page, then you would be knowing about it. Also, like if you are following, of course, I have been seeing a lot of DMs on my Instagram, a lot many comments. YouTube comment section is filled with comments every time, and I keep replying to the comments, and that actually means a world to me. I feel so happy, so blessed when I see comments coming from your side, when I see my subscribers increasing. Thank you so much, everybody, for liking my content and supporting me. So today we are going to comments with agency. अगेन आप में से कोई भी है जो क्लैट 2027 की प्रिपरेशन कर रहा है, जो किसी लो एंट्रेंस एग्जाम की प्रिपरेशन कर रहा है, या फिर कोई ऐसा है कि जो ऑलरेडी कॉलेज में पढ़ रहा है, अपने सेमेस्टर एग्जाम की प्रिपरेशन कर रहा है, तो एंड उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स आ रहा है सिलेबस में, देन डेफिनेटली यू कैन चेक आउट दिस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो. वी आर गोइंग टू कवर एजेंसी, वी आर गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड द बेयर एक्ट, वी आर गोइंग टू understand the language, how to read the bare act. We're also going to understand the concept of agency, everything we are going to do in this very video. Anyone who is preparing for CLAT 2027, do check out the carousels and YouTube posts that I have uploaded that are going to be of really help. They're really helpful, right? They're going to be of great help to you guys. And let's start with this. Let's start, okay? Number one, 182. So we are going to start with section 182. We have already completed indemnity, guarantee, bailment, pledge, etc., etc. All the other topics of the Indian Contract Act we have already covered, and we would be coming with other videos as well of partnership, of various other barracks, various other statutes, a couple with case laws we would be bringing in the upcoming videos. So stay tuned, okay? Agent and principal. ठीक है. अब agent is a person who is employed to do any act for another or to represent another in dealings with third person. Right. So देखो, first of all you understand this concept. It's a very very basic concept and it is used everywhere. You're going to see in any legal subject, this topic is used, right? You will come across this particular topic very often in any legal subject of yours. You have an agent, right? And then you have a principal. Principal is the person who controls the agent. Agent always works on the directions, on the control of the principal. ठीक है. तो जैसे मैं अगर आपको एग्जांपल दूं, फॉर एग्जांपल, um, I have to sign a couple of documents and I'm not able, and I have to attend a meeting, right, for that. So in that particular meeting only I need to sign documents. I'm not available, right? I send some person on my behalf to sign those documents. So I'm sending my agent, right? So agent represents the principal. Okay, whatever agent does is going to bind the principal. Right. So in this particular scenario where I'm not available in a meeting, agent is going to go sign the documents, and in any future, let's say, circumstance, if any case comes up against my company or maybe against me, then I am liable for that. My agent would not be liable for it. Okay. But because agent was working in the course of the business, in the ordinary course of business, we'll understand it. Ordinary course of business meaning what agent actually does in the ordinary course of business, or what that custom or trade, usage of trade demands. For example, my business pertains to dealing with soap brands. So in that case, if I'm signing any document to acquire a soap company, or if my agent is signing any document to acquire a soap company, or maybe to collaborate with a different soap brand, or maybe regarding IP, etc. So in that case, I would be liable for that, because agent is making me liable, because agent is on my behalf, agent is working on the direction and the control of mine, because it is the ordinary course of business, that is soap brands. Let's say agent signs any document, makes me liable, and signs in a document pertaining to cars. Then in that case, agent is personally liable. I am not liable, because agent is not working in the ordinary course of business. Of course, we do not deal with cars. Also, there are a couple of other things as well. If there is any willful neglect, any malicious intent from the side of the agent, then in that case also agent would be personally liable and the principal would not be liable. It is that the agent needs to work on the direction, the control of the principal. I hope you have understood this basic concept. These particular lines, this particular monologue that I've just now delivered, that forms the basic tenets of agency, of the concept of agency in the Indian Contract Act. Similarly, you're going to read it in partnership as well. It is the same thing that I've explained. In partnership also, I'm going to explain the same thing. Any person in this world is going to explain you this particular thing only. This is the basic tenets, the basic foundation of everything. Okay. Who may employ an agent? A person who is of age of majority according to law to which he is a subject and who is of sound mind may employ an agent. Absolutely. आप देखते हो इंडियन मेजोरिटी एक्ट 1875 एक बंदा मेजर तब हो जाता है जब 18 ईयर्स अटेन कर लेता है. In that case, when you are 18 or above and you are of sound mind, then you can definitely employ an agent, meaning you are a principal when you are a major and you are of sound mind. Simple, basic. We had read this in Indian contract also under section 10 and section 11 about the competency. Person should be of age of 18 or more, should be of sound mind and should not be of an unsound mind. ठीक है? Who may be an agent as between principal and third persons, any person may become an agent, but no person who is not an age of majority and of sound mind can become an agent so as to be responsible to his principal according to the provisions. Okay, agent agency के लिए भी उन्होंने क्या बोल दिया है कि मेजर होना चाहिए, साउंड माइंड होना चाहिए, ऑब्वियसली जस्ट लाइक प्रिंसिपल. ठीक है. Okay. Next is, but again, there have been situations where even kids have also been agents, but they cannot be principals, but they can be agents. Even minors can be agents, but is that they are not going to be personally liable. Okay, the principal is only going to be personally liable in case of an agency. So, but no person who is not of the age of majority and of sound mind can become an agent so as to be responsible for principal according to directions. But there have been cases where we are going to read further. Okay, consideration is not necessary. No consideration is needed to create any agency for it. Yes, it's just a normal, simple work that agent has to do. No consideration is needed. It's not consideration, it's just a commission that the agent can earn. You can write in your answers as well. It's just a commission that agent earns by the actions. No consideration is needed. Agent's authority may be expressed or implied. Okay, authority may be expressed or it may be implied. It is as simple as that. It is self-explanatory. ठीक है, या तो मैं लिख सकती हूँ पेपर पे कि तुम क्या करोगे, तुम अगर मैं मीटिंग्स में नहीं जाती तो तुम मेरे डॉक्यूमेंट साइन करोगे. आइदर इट इज एक्सप्रेस्ड और इट इज इम्प्लाइड. ठीक है, कि मैंने बस ऐसे ही ऐसे डायरेक्शन दे दी कि if some other employee particular asks me that why I'm not going to the meeting, I will say okay, Rohan is going to on my behalf to sign the documents. It is implied. Definitions of express and implied authority. An authority is said to be expressed when it is given by word spoken or written. Authority is said to be implied when it is inferred from the circumstances of the case, being spoken, written, or ordinary course of dealing may be accounted circumstances of the case. As simple as that, nothing. Whenever you are writing about the agent's authority, expressed or implied, you are always going to mention section 186 and 187. About the extent of agent's authority. An agent having an authority to do an act has authority to do every lawful thing which is necessary in order to do such act. जैसे if I'm not going to a particular meeting, then in that particular meeting where I'm supposed to sign a document, then whatever things which are ancillary to signing a document, let's say having a conversation with the investors, having discussing the deal, right, or maybe sharing the account number of my company, right, or maybe sharing my pan card, or which all these things which are legal, which are supposed to be done while signing the document or while completing the formalities, whatever thing that agent does, right, while doing an act which I have asked him to do, whatever thing agent does, that is going to come under the extent of agency only. Okay. An agent having an authority to carry on business has authority to do every lawful thing necessary for purpose or usually done in the course of conducting such business. Remember, whenever I am saying usual course of dealing, or maybe what is usually done in the in the course, let's say while discussing a business deal, right, always okay, and while closing a business deal, when things are discussed regarding, okay, I would be sharing my account details, or I would be putting forth my financials, or maybe I would be giving the annual financial statements, or maybe let's say a company is going to be acquired, so company is giving access of its legal scenarios, or maybe what is happening inside the company, or the legal cases pending against the company. When the company is actually giving its information, a company is supposed to give information, right, during the time when it is going to be acquired by some other company. So this is usually done in the course of business. Okay, ऐसे ऐसे चीजें. Agent's authority in an emergency. Agent has authority in an emergency to do all such acts of purpose of protecting the principal from loss as it will be done by a person of ordinary prudence in his own case under similar circumstances. One thing is very, very simple. Whenever it happens in partnership as well, if let's say agent is doing something which agent is not supposed to do, but out of emergency the agent is doing, then in that case of course that act would also come under the agent's ambit, because whatever agency's ambit, because whatever the agent is doing, the agent is doing to keep the principle safe, to make sure that whatever principle has said, the directions are met, the control is met, right, and is like at the end of the day the purpose is being fulfilled of the principle. So all of those tasks are legal and they would come under the ambit of agency. Like let's consider let's say the agent, there was a fire that erupted, and during the meeting itself, and due to which the papers, the official papers, or maybe some confidential information that the agent was carrying of me, okay, and at that point of time the agent later on he just tried to because it was a deal that was very significant to my company or significant to my reputation, and the agent somehow tried to get the access of my confidential information via some illegal means. But again, that deal was very very important to me, so agent did this out of emergency, right? I am being benefited at the end of the day with this. So it is simple as that, it would come under the ambit of agency. But if situation would have been that there would have been no fire, or maybe no circumstance which would have uh, rather compelled to force the agent to get the information by illegal means, and in that case the agent would have been held personally liable, and it would not have come under the ambit of agency. आई होप समझ में आ गया होगा। जो चीज़ें डाउट्स लग रही हैं उसको यूट्यूब पे डाल दिया करो, कमेंट सेक्शन पे मैं उसका रिप्लाई कर दूंगी। अब सब एजेंट्स पर आते हैं। सब एजेंट इज नथिंग बट कैन एन एजेंट अपॉइंट सब एजेंट। इसका मतलब ऐसा है कि इफ आई एम नॉट अवेलेबल टू साइन अ पर्टिकुलर डॉक्यूमेंट इन मीटिंग एंड आई एम आस्किंग रोहन टू डू इट ऑन माई बिहाफ, कैन रोहन अपॉइंट सोहन टू साइन द डॉक्यूमेंट? कैन दैट बी डन? लेट्स सी। अब इसमें सर्कमस्टांसेस होते हैं। Let's say I want my house to be painted. I want a pink, I want my walls to be painted pink, okay, and I employ a very trusted painter of mine, let's say Mr. uh, Ram for it. Okay, so I have appointed Mr. Ram for it, and he is going to paint my walls pink. And I have trusted him because of his capability and skills. Let's consider Ram appoints Sohan for it, and Ram says that I am not going to do the painting. Sohan is going to do the painting. Okay, I am not doing it. So Ram has appointed a sub agent. This Ram can't do because I have entrusted that particular work to Ram only because of his capability and skill, because they trust that. So Ram is supposed to do that particular work. So in that case सब एजेंसी के नॉट बी अलाउड। ये पर्टिकुलर जो मैंने कॉन्सेप्ट मैं आपको बता रही हूँ ना, बेयर एक्ट पढ़ने से पहले, ये हर जगह ही यूज होंगे। ये पार्टनरशिप में भी यूज होंगे, ये बेसिक लॉ के प्रिंसिपल्स में भी यूज होंगे, जहां पर भी एजेंसी दिख जाए ये सब चीजें यूज होंगी। ये सब चीजें हम पढ़ भी रहे हैं अभी, पढ़ेंगे भी। ठीक है, सो रिमेंबर दीज थिंग्स। When agent cannot delegate, agent cannot lawfully employ another to perform tasks which he is expressly and impliedly undertaken to perform personally. That paint Ram was supposed to do it personally, unless by the ordinary course of ordinary custom of trade as a sub agent may. From the nature of the agencies, a sub agent must be employed. Let's say, okay, I am purchasing a flat, okay, and I got in touch with a broker in a particular, let's say, city in Delhi. I am purchasing a flat, and I also wanted to be financed, okay, by some bank, or maybe I want some loan, etc. I want basically some financial help in order to buy that, and I need a person who could finance that. And the broker gets me in touch with some person who usually helps people to buy flats. Maybe the person runs some kind of like bank, or maybe some kind of organization which basically helps people to buy houses. Let's consider this, and the rest financial work is done by the person who has been appointed by the broker now. So if you see, it is the ordinary custom of trade only कि जब भी कोई बंदा घर खरीदता है और जिसको भी पैसे चाहिए होते हैं घर खरीदने के, वो बंदा हेल्प ले लेता है, फाइनेंशियल हेल्प ले लेता है ब्रोकर से, एंड ब्रोकर अपॉइंट सम अदर पर्सन फॉर दैट, for the paperwork and documentation to be completed. So in that case ordinary course of business demands it. वो custom of trade घर खरीदने का demand ही करता है कि कोई और person आएगा, appoint करा जाएगा by the broker in order to get the paperwork completed. So इसमें सब agency allowed होगा। समझ में आया? Sub-agent defined. A sub-agent is a person employed by and acting under the control of the ordinary agent in the business of the agency. ओके, दिस इज द डेफिनेशन. रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ प्रिंसिपल. अच्छा, इसके एग्जाम्पल में हो सकता है कि somebody कैन ऑल्सो काउंटर इट सेइंग कि वो बंदा इज डूइंग सम पेपर वर्क ओनली, कि जो ब्रोकर ने बंदा लगाया है वो पेपर वर्क ही कर रहा है. अब देखो, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द कैपेसिटी एज वेल. आप कौन सी कैपेसिटी में वो काम कर रहे हो, आप वो काम एज एन इंडिविजुअल कैपेसिटी में कर रहे हो या फिर कैपेसिटी ऑफ एन एजेंसी में कर रहे हो. ठीक है, इफ दैट पर्सन इज डूइंग द पेपर वर्क इन कैपेसिटी ऑफ एन एजेंट, इट वुड कम under the ambit of sub agency. If he is doing it as in individual capacity, तो it would not come under the ambit of sub agency. It also depends on the capacity. मैं capacity इसलिए बोल रही हूँ, if you are in your first year, if you are in your second year, if you are reading legal statutes, if you are reading law, of course, if you are a law student, so ये चीजें बहुत frequently आएंगी. Representation of principal where sub-agent properly appointed. Where sub-agent is properly appointed, the principal is so far as regards third persons represented by sub-agent and is bound and is responsible for his acts as if he were an agent originally appointed by the principal. If a sub-agent has been properly appointed meaning the principal knows about it. The principal knows that he is being represented by a sub-agent now. This means he is properly appointed, right? So in that case, whatever the sub-agent does is going to bind the principal. Ajo, agent's responsibility for sub-agent. The agent is responsible to principal for acts of sub-agent, and sub-agent is responsible for his acts to the agent but not to the principal except in cases of fraud and willful conduct. लेक्चर के शुरुआत में मैंने आपको फ्रॉड और विलफुल कॉन्डक्ट के बारे में समझाया था, अगर आपको याद हो. एजेंट उसमें पर्सनली लायबल होता है, सो इन दैट केस सब एजेंट इज गोइंग टू बी personally liable when he does any task of the principal, and is not going to be and is going to be personally liable only if he commits any kind of fraud and willful wrong. ठीक है, सिंपल. और जो एजेंट है और जो सब एजेंट अपना पॉइंट करता है वो सब एजेंट के लिए प्रिंसिपल बन जाता है. आगे बढ़ते हैं हम. आई थिंक वीडियो बहुत लंबी हो जाएगी, सो वी आर गोइंग टू डू इट इन पार्ट, सो स्टे ट्यून्ड फॉर पार्ट नंबर 2. बाय.